Hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Welcome to my new subscribers. I'm so glad everyone's enjoying this new series of videos I am doing and will be doing for the entire One Tree Hill series. So I just got done with the podcast, another fabulous, it was about 77 minutes, I think, over an hour. And it always flies by. It was really cool that they had JoJo on and their hairdresser, and she just seemed like so much fun. So this one is the With Arms Outstretched, season 1, episode 9. So let's see what I think of it this time around. So right off the bat with this episode, I do agree with what they said on the podcast about how they're kind of framing, in this episode, they're framing Lucas to where he's kind of playing both girls, Peyton and Brooke. And I've always kind of felt that way, but they also frame him in such the nice guy way that it's almost hard to see him that way. But after, they said that, I'm like, I knew I wasn't crazy. Like, yes, he was totally kind of like playing each girl. I really feel like that. And then, of course, we have the secret kiss with Nathan taking a giddy Haley, from the hall into a room and kissing her. It's so cute. Even when Whitey makes a threat, it's still endearing. And it just is like, oh my god, you're so cute. But, like, he's serious. Like, Whitey is a paradox because, like, he's gruff, but he just gives, like, the best bear hugs. It's such a trip seeing Brooke play this sexy vixen after hearing, Sophia talk about how that was just so not her. Like, I know I've said it before, but she did that role so well for somebody who was so uncomfortable with those actions and those words coming out of this character's mouth. But it's a testament to her acting. Another paradox is how Dan comes into the cafe and he's like drinking the coffee that Deb gave him, and he's like, clearly my wife can use my help. This is the worst coffee. And it's just like, Dan was really so good at having these moments of just making you see that, he once was a good person, or he was a sweet person, or not this terrible person that he's become. And then it's just like this back and forth of just like terrible person, not so bad, terrible person, not so bad. And then you see Lucas walk in and see Dan in his mom's cafe. I mean, that is just layers and levels right there. When Dan's like, you won't beat my record. I mean, on one hand, it's so cold, but then, he backs up his statement with these, your conditioning's crap and this and that. And it's like, if you were a coach, like, it would make sense. But as his dad, it's just kind of like, I mean, where's the line between tough love and encouragement? Because Dan really never seemed to overshoot that line. But then when Nathan stands up and he's like, I'm happy, Mom. Dad loves me. Ooh, there's a lot to unpack in that one, with that one comment. The performance enhancers whole thing with Nathan just always seems so stupid to me, like on every level. Like, I know the kids do that in sports and stuff, but it was just like, I agree with what they said on the podcast, like, it seemed out of character. Oh my god, when Brooke shows up at the pizza place and is all like, hey Lucas, 3 more chapters and you're all mine. It's like, and then Keith is like, what's that about? And he's like, and Lucas does nothing. And he's like, oh, that's definitely something. He's like, oh, like such a guy thing. It's like, oh, there you go. It's like, so stupid. Okay, so like, when Tim gives Nathan the amphetamines, I think that's one of the most serious scenes we see Tim in. Just side note. I will say James Lafferty is a very good actor once again, because like, he's able to just like be so like angry, and like, Whitey just looked like he had to like calm himself down, like, okay, walk away, Nathan. It's like, oh my god, the intensity in that scene. I do like that Nathan like takes Haley's hand and like, oh, my heart's going fast because that's what happens when I'm around you. I'm like, oh, okay, smooth dude, but really? Another fantastic Whitey Dan altercation back and forth between those two. Oh my god. I love their scenes because they are just rife with the perfect comebacks to each other. I really do like that they kind of made Brooke kind of like a pool shark in this episode. I kind of wish that they had ever gone back to that, but like they said in the podcast, that just was like a one hit done kind of thing. But I kind of think it really gave her character a little more mystery because it's like, oh, you would never think like the head cheerleader would be a pool shark, you know? I really forget how back and forth it is between Nathan and Haley at the beginning because like one minute they're doing great and the next they're not, and his whole like wanting to sleep with her thing, it's just so like he was doing so good, you know, and then like he just reverts back to his old kind of ways with her, and he just hasn't quite figured out yet that okay, this is not the typical female that I have been with in the past, so I need to, you know, correct my behavior, not just for her but for like all womankind and yourself, dude. I always forget about the tattoo that Brooke has. And speaking of tattoos, I totally didn't realize that like Lucas in real life, you know, Chad, he had a real tattoo, and I didn't realize that they had such a trouble hiding it. So like, that was great. It just makes me laugh that like Lucas got so drunk. Brooke was such a enabler, bad influence, but a fun one. Oh my god, Keith reacting to Lucas's tattoo though is so funny because he's just like, I expected more from you. He gave him the basically, I'm disappointed in you. I have to say, it's still just so funny because when Lucas and Haley are talking about their nights, and Haley's like, you and Brooke Davis, ugh, like, please. Like, I just think it's so funny how much they don't really like each other and how much they become, like, so close later. It's just so funny. Oh my god, when Brooke is, like, talking about how she had her night with Lucas, and you just see how sad Peyton looks when Brooke walks away. It's like, oh, oh my god. Again, the whole Dan and Deb scene when he's like, "Oh, you want your own diner? Look, I can help you out with that." And she's like, no." And then he's just like, "If you're running Karen's Cafe because, you know, find out solution for me, I don't want it." And it's like, "I don't need it." And it's just like, who are you trying to convince there? Her or you? I just have to say, after hearing it on the podcast, it was nice to have it reaffirmed because I can remember every time I watched this scene between Peyton and Haley talking about how Haley was a virgin and how just neutral it was. Like, there was no judgment. Like, I always remember that being a very big point in that scene. And I really, really love that because it was just like, that was her choice and that was cool, and everybody has to do what feels right for them, you know? So I always really appreciated how, like, just chill and neutral that scene was. So bravo. That was one thing I will say that One Tree Hill got right in that respect. Oh my god, when Deb's like, I can't make your game, Nathan, but Haley can. And then Dan's just like, oh, at least one of us can be there. He's so childish. Nathan yelling at Haley before the game, like, like, I just can't with him. It's like, you take one step forward and 20 steps back. Ah! It does surprise me that after that altercation that Haley still went to the game, but at the same time, I think that it's like an underlying tone of that she's concerned for him. She still cares. That's just so Haley. It's like, oh, it's like you go from frustration to like, oh. Oh my god, Nathan collapsing at the game, and then like Dan at the hospital, like, my son's not on that stuff. You do your job, doctor. It's like, Dan just does not, he just refuses to see the signs in front of him. The fact that Dan seriously doesn't call Deb when Nathan's in the hospital is just so unbelievably wrong. It's narcissistic. It's childish. It's so competitive. Like they said on the podcast, I mean, his competitiveness is just, it's unreal. Like I mean, I can't even formulate words because it still like upsets me so much because it's like, I mean, how could you not let her know her son is in the hospital? Like, who are you? Okay, so I love the Dan and Whitey confrontations, you know, because they're so fun. But I love Keith and Whitey's like talks because they're so awesome on the other complete side of the spectrum. Like, oh my god, I just, Keith and Whitey are freaking just awesome together. Oh my god, I just love Deb's moment of just, you smug son of a bitch to Dan, and get out of this house, and I will stab you in your sleep if you don't. Damn right. Ah. And then he's just like, oh, do you really think Nathan would go with you? It's like, how old are you, dude? Okay, when Haley is calling Nathan, and it's just like, and then he shows up, and it's just, I love that. Oh my god, Nathan's speech to Haley. It's like, I mean, like I said, okay, so he takes a step forward, he takes 20 steps back, and then, like, he comes through with this moment of clarity and his almost death experience, and he's like, I just wanted to tell you that you're all that matters, and it's just like, ah! So, in that moment, I think Nathan just kind of took, like, a million steps forward, right? Okay, so like when Peyton shows up to Lucas's and she's like, I want all those things with you. It was such a nice moment. And then Brooke walks in and it just becomes so awkward and just it becomes a cringe fest. And he's just like, Peyton. And it's just like stare, stare, stare. Like, what is that? Like, ugh. It's kind of a really nice moment to see Dan being kind of shoved out of his own house, and then we see Whitey, you know, saying basketball canceled until further notice. It's like, ah, oh, you get it, Whitey. Do you, Whitey, and bye, Dan, for like a minute. Yeah, that ending on this episode is just like, look, stare back. It's like, I mean, I know you're trying to build to something here, but like, it's so sad. Like, I don't know, rewatching it this time, I'm like, I'm conflicted. So if that is what you were going for, then you nailed it. Oh my god, so that's another episode that was With Arms Outstretched, episode 9, season 1. We will be here for episode 10. You gotta go there to come back, I believe. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here. Bye.